Did you know that from 2017 to 2020, WagerTalk charged $795 for a season of either college football or NFL? Well, we know how important our season-long customers are, and we want to increase the amount of money you save by committing a season-long package. While most of our competitors continue to raise their prices, we are doing the exact opposite. We've lowered our price for both the NFL season and the college football season to only $5.99 each. But through Sunday, August 14th, we are offering an early bird special, saving you an additional $100, making your NFL or college football season only $4.99. That's under $23 per week. Make sure to take advantage of the early bird prices before midnight, Sunday, August 14th, as they will return to the still low price of $5.99 per sport per season. You know the NFL preseason is already underway, and the college football season kicks off Saturday, August 27th. There is no coupon needed and no limit to the number of packages you can buy. Just head to your favorite handicappers page and take advantage today.
Welcome into First Pitch for Tuesday, August 2nd. I am Drew Martin, joined by Dave Koken and Steve Merrill of WagerTalk.com. We're talking 3 games on tonight's slate. Blue Jays, Rays. We got Orioles, Rangers, A's, and Angels late night. We'll talk trade deadline, guys, 6 p.m. Eastern today. Today is trade deadline day. We'll also talk a little handicapping approach coming into summertime, coming into August capping time. But guys, let's get into the game. Starting here in the AL East, we got Blue Jays and Rays. Gossman versus Drew Rasmussen going for the Rays. Dave, coming to you first. Interesting handicap here between 2 of the 3 current American League wildcard teams. Minus 130 to as high as minus 140. That's the Blue Jays as the road favorite. Low total here, just 7 flat in the Trop. You liking anything in Tampa tonight, Dave?
I don't think I'm going to be playing many under 7s with that Toronto offense. That's a power lineup. I mean, they're loaded. And let's talk Blue Jays for a moment because they haven't really done a lot at the deadline. Now, as we're doing this, assuming the Soto trade is going to happen, Eric Hosmer might still be the holdup on that. We don't know. But assuming that's going to happen, the biggest remaining trade piece has to be Carlos Rodon of the Giants. The Giants, at this point, particularly with the moves being made by the teams ahead of them in the National League, they're not contenders, okay? So Rodon is the most tradable guy. And I think the Blue Jays have got to make a move here. The Yankees have gotten better at the deadline. The Astros have gotten better at the deadline. Those are the 2 teams you're really chasing in the American League if you're the Blue Jays. Toronto's offense can play with anybody's. They need another pitcher. Rodon, to me, is the guy, and I'll be interested to see what happens here because if the Blue Jays don't make a move, I wonder if it's going to have a negative impact on their clubhouse because, these guys are seeing what the other teams are doing, and it's like, hey, we got to do something too. So that's just a longer range thing on the Blue Jays. As for tonight, I give Gossman a little bit of edge over Rasmussen, but I think it's in the line. I mean, I expect Toronto to win the game, but I don't think I can bet it at this price. So I'll give you a lean to the Blue Jays for the obvious reasons. Better offense, better pitcher, but that's about it.
Steve, I broke this one down as Toronto having the kind of roster advantage. Dave touched on it a little bit, and plus the fact, the Rays are just as banged up as any team out there. If you go by total days on the IL, they're near 1,500. Adding up all of their guys and all the days spent on the IL, that's number 1 in the American League. But one thing I noticed in just doing a little research here, going back, Toronto has very much struggled in Tampa. 8-18 their last 26. We talked about it on Wager Talk today. Is it the lighting? Is it just that dump that we call Tropicana? I don't know. It's enough to keep me off of the Jays tonight. What are you thinking tonight in Tampa?
Yeah, go back and watch that episode if anybody missed it. Because first of all, Drew Martin gave a free daytime baseball play, which goes at 4 Eastern between the Rockies and Padres. So still some time to get in on that. And Teddy Covers used this game for his big game breakdown. And then Drew and I chimed in afterwards as well. And one thing I pointed out, Drew, as you know, is that extreme home road dichotomy for Toronto, first of all, this year. And that's not a fluke. They've always been a pretty good home team. And now you've got the whole crossing the border. Some guys not allowed to play because they're not vaccinated situations. So Toronto 34-21 at home, but just 23-24 on the road. But then you look at Tampa, who without a doubt has the worst stadium in all of baseball. And you even said maybe the worst North American sporting venue, and you've been there because you're a Florida guy. They're 32-20 at home, just 22-28 away. So we don't talk a lot about home road dichotomies in baseball. I use it a lot in college basketball, probably more than any other sport. But we definitely have a home edge for Tampa here. Both teams traveled yesterday. They were both off. So I think that helps break the hot streak, help heat up the cool team in Tampa that's just 3-7 last 10. And Toronto does appear to be cooling off offensively. This team has 6 hits or less in each of their last 3 games, despite putting up 11 runs. They've had 6 hits or less now in 4 of their last 5 games, and now they're traveling. So I think Tampa is a live dog tonight in this one. And you mentioned how banged up they are. Yes, but if they can somewhat get healthy, we might get some value with the Rays here over the next month. And I think we are getting some value with Tampa at an underdog price, especially at home with that home field advantage.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry about that.
Not to mention on the venue, I've seen one game there, and it was when it first opened up, and it really is the only stadium I've ever been in that was brand new and already felt like it was 30 years old.
Yeah, I promised Steve that I'd ask you about it, Dave. I'm glad that you answered that. But I believe that the stadium was actually not built for the Rays. It was just already there. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it was for like a hockey team or something, right, Dave?
I don't know.
Okay.
But somebody more well versed in St. Petersburg history. They don't even have the right team name. They're not in Tampa.
Yeah.
They're and it's not easy to get to. They need to just get them out of there. Move them to Nashville or Montreal.
And it's sad because they could do so well. And I know that they're trying to build a stadium there, like on the water. And could you imagine Toronto, New York fans, Boston, those 3 teams in particular, how many games they would play in Tampa, filling it up? It could be a pretty good business proposition.
The dispute I would have with that is, I don't think it's a good baseball area. It might be at the high school level, but the Marlins couldn't sell out when they were winning World Series. And the Rays, it doesn't matter who's in town, whether it's the Red Sox or the Yankees or a couple of other teams, they have more fans in the stands than the Rays do. I just don't. I know it's a big media market, et cetera, and so is Miami. But to me, baseball would be better off if they just took those 2 franchises and moved them to someplace where fans actually show up.
It's funny you bring that up, Dave. I mean, a lot of sports struggle in Florida. Outside of football, really none of them do well long term.
Okay. Look, I stay on the West Coast now, but I'm from the East originally. And I'm a big sports guy. I always have been. That's the number one thing for me. But on my trips to Florida, the last thing I was going to do was go to a sporting event. I mean, the nightlife is great. The weather's fantastic, especially in the wintertime. You want to be at the beach. Who cares about going to a baseball game? And I love baseball. So, common sense. I don't blame the fans for not. I'm not knocking the fans down there. If I lived there, I wouldn't be going to the games either. There's too many other things to do.
Well, and Drew, a big reason, too, is you get a lot of Northerners retiring down there, so you get allegiances from other cities. So I don't think there's a lot of homeborn. And that's one of the reasons, like my native Virginia Beach, Norfolk area has had trouble getting NBA and NHL teams. A lot of military populations. It's very transient, and you don't have a fan base for generations like you do in Boston or Pittsburgh or other areas. And by the way, the Dome opened in 1990, and the Lightning did play there, and they had tennis there. And basically they made it a Dome because they didn't think they'd get a baseball team because of the heat. Miami and Colorado got the 93 expansion teams, as you guys remember. And then in 98, the Rays and the D-backs. So, yeah, like you said, Dave, it's been a bad stadium before the Rays were even a team and before they even moved in for Game 1.
Good information there, Steve. And reminder, guys, Jays have really struggled in Tampa over the last 4 years, just 8-18, their last 26. We'll move down the list here. Steve, coming to you first. Baltimore Orioles. Straight off of a trade. Their closer on the move. They get Jordan Lyles on the hill here. Howard going for the Rangers. Minus $1.25 now. That's the Rangers as the home favorite, up from minus 120. 8 in the hook, the total. You liking anything here? O's and Rangers tonight, Steve?
Yeah, my former Baltimore Orioles when I was a child, and then now they might become my Baltimore Orioles again, because why would I want my Washington Nationals anymore, especially without Bell or Soto in the lineup, right? But no, look, even if you're not an Orioles fan or once was an Orioles fan as I was, it's pretty exciting to see what they're doing. I think just from a sports perspective, because they were supposed to be the worst team in baseball this year. They had the lowest season win total, so I think that's a pretty good way to look at it. And they've done it with homegrown talent. In fact, their AAA team is right in my neck of the woods, the Norfolk Tides. And a lot of these guys have come through the system here. So it's nice to see them doing it within the organization. But what is interesting, as you kind of hinted on there, is it looks like there's sellers here near the trade deadline. And that's interesting, not because, they're the sellers. Everyone thought they'd be the worst team in the league, because they're 52-51. They're just 2.5 games out of the playoffs right now. You don't normally see teams that's selling anything when you're 2.5 out. But once again, they got such youth. I don't think it's a bad move. They're not going to win it this year. It would have been nice to maybe make the postseason, but if they get some more young talent, they could be really good for the next decade. Not a team you want to fade. You've lost a lot of money this year if you faded the Orioles, whether it be on the money line, where they're over plus 21 units, or the run line, where they've been one of the best teams all year. Their bullpen has probably been better than anything as far as exceeding expectations. That's one of the reasons they are above 500. Texas, though, is a very interesting team to talk about. And I've talked about this in some of the videos I've done the last few weeks. And Dave and I have talked about it on the show with you as well. I know expected win-loss record is an end-all, be-all. Last year, Seattle vastly overachieved, and they did so all season. Providence did it in college basketball, and they continued to do it into the tournament, right? So you don't necessarily play on or against a team. But the Rangers definitely have some upside. They're 10 games below 500, 46-56. Yet if you look at expected win-loss record on the year, it's pretty remarkable. They're still plus 6 net runs. They should be 52-50. The reason, of course, is because they're 5-23 in games decided by exactly 1 run. 5-23. Now, look, some of that might not be random. Maybe they're not good in quite tight, close pressure situations. But 5-23 is pretty random, especially when your bullpen is still ranked in the top half of the league in most statistical categories. So my point is, I think there's some upside with Texas in the near future. I think Baltimore is due to regress. I think they know it. That's why they're not afraid to get rid of some guys. So we have kind of a play-on team against a team that might eventually be a play against. So I would lean Rangers for that reason.
Love that you brought up the bullpen stat there, Steve, because a lot of times when it's one run, like a team is bad in one-run games or good in one-run games, people just chalk that up as, whatever, it happens. No, it's actually very correlated with the bullpen. But in this case, due to your stats right there, it is a little bit of an anomaly. Dave, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts tonight in Arlington?
Well, let's first look at the Orioles. And I know some of their fans are a little disappointed, but they shouldn't be, because the Orioles are overachieving this year, and they're building for the future. And now they've added 2 more prospects for Jorge Lopez, who's having a great year. But, I don't look at Jorge Lopez as a guy who's going to be a dominant closer for the next 10 years or something. Okay, he's not in that class. So they got 2 prospects for him. They worked the 3-team deal for Mancini. I like what the Orioles are doing, actually, because they've got a good young core there, and they've got to be in build mode. They're not going to win the World Series this year anyway. The Rangers are a team with a ton of upside, and I think they're the early front runners for me in terms of next year as a potential over-wins prop candidate. I like the direction of this team. As for tonight, I don't know. I don't have any real thoughts of the game. Lyles has pitched better than expected. Howard, at times, looked like he could dominate, and then the next inning he'll be just absolutely awful. He's a really tough guy to handicap because he's got good stuff, but he's very inconsistent. I'm not betting anything tonight, by the way. I'll give you a best bet here on the show that I'm not betting myself, so I'll preface that by just saying that it's not a bet, it's a lean. This game, I guess the numbers slightly indicate some value on the Orioles, but I can't see it as a bet.
Last thing on this game, guys, Jordan Lyles going for the Orioles. His last time out, a win over the Rays. He pitched very well, 3-0 win. But as we just touched on, Baltimore kind of sellers right now, a little surprising. However, I listened to their GM in a little quick interview, and he was saying they have so much top-notch minor league talent that he thinks they're still alive. Now, some of that might be, coach GM speak, just kind of covering them. But I mean, maybe, Dave, if you look at these top-notch guys in Double and Triple A, they are showing the numbers.
They got two guys who are immediately going to their top 30 prospects from the Twins. If you can get that for Jorge Lopez, who's had a very good, 4 months in his entire Major League career, that's a good trade for the Orioles. It might not do any good this year, but again, what's the reality? Maybe if they get lucky, they sneak in to the last wild card spot. Again, fans might react negatively because it's like fans have short attention spans for the most part. I like what the Orioles did. I don't think the Mancini deal is a bad deal either, particularly with what they did to the stadium, which is taken away from Mancini's strength. He likes to pull the ball, and you need a rocket launcher to get it out of Baltimore if you're a right-handed hitter hitting to left field. So I like what the Orioles did. Whether it's going to impact them short term, I don't know. We'll have to see how they play over the next few days, see if it had any negative impact on the clubhouse. But I think the players knew it was coming. They won last night, so it didn't have an immediate negative impact. Let's put it that way.
Sure. And about betting this game, guys, the Rangers, if you like the Rangers at the minus $1.25 price, I would say bet at action because there's still some chirp here that Jordan Lyles might be on the trading block. And I'm guessing he's factored into this line because he has pitched well and one of their better pitchers. So if he is dealt before first pitch, that line's likely to move in the Rangers' favor. We got one game left, guys. We got best bets at the end, heading out west here. Oakland Athletics versus the LA Angels. Competitively priced game here. Dave, coming back to you first. Obviously, the Angels, very disappointing this season. Throwing Syndergaard, though, commanding a minus 120 price tag versus Irvin in the A's. 7 in the hook, the total. You liking anything in Los Angeles tonight, Dave?
I'll put Syndergaard in parentheses because he could be gone by the time this game starts. Syndergaard is one of the guys who's been mentioned. The Angels, they're not buyers, that's for sure. So if they could get something, Syndergaard, I think they might take a stab at making a deal there. So we'll see on that. I don't want to buy any part of the Angels. They are arguably the worst team in the majors right now. They're in the discussion, let's put it that way. So is Oakland. The A's have actually hit the ball a little bit better lately. Irvin has been much better at home than on the road, so you've got that split to worry about. I don't know. I guess I kind of look at it and say, maybe they get some runs tonight, but it's tough to do that with this Oakland offense. And the Angels' offense isn't any good. The Angels' WRC plus in the month of July against lefties was 50. So you don't want them. I haven't the slightest idea. Sorry this game got listed because it's arguably the worst game on the schedule tonight between two garbage teams. And I'll watch it because I want to see what Ohtani does. And then when he's not up, I'll switch to some other game.
Steve, in conclusion here, late night affair, somebody needs some action late night. Not going to force you to do anything, but if you want to help anybody out there, I can't bet the Angels. I mean, the A's 7-3 their last 10 plus price. That's the only way I could go. If you had to bet it, what would you like in Los Angeles tonight?
I'd be looking at the total. Under 7.5. Whenever it's that hook, 7's such a key number. It always spices my attention a little bit to the under 7.5, and I think you could definitely make a case for it. First of all, make sure you're doing the listed pitchers. Normally totals are listed, but with all these new sports books out there, maybe you can do it without listing it. But Irvin and Syndergaard, who we're handicapping here, and first of all, both pitchers I think do hold the edge tonight, so I do like that pitching matchup. And both offenses, as Dave said, have been terrible, not just recently, but basically all season. That's why these are two really bad teams. Normally coincides to your offense. On a given night, your pitcher can carry you, but you don't win games and you end up 39-65 like the A's and 43-59 like the Angels when you got bad offense. And Irvin, 2.96 ERA, 1.04 whip. Syndergaard, 1.2 whip. Both guys are throwing well. Both offenses in bad current form. Nothing has changed. The A's have 3 runs total in their last 2 games. They've had single-digit hits in 5 straight. Angels have had single-digit hits now in 7 straight games. They've scored 2 or less in 3 of their past 4 games. Under 7.5 looks pretty good in this one.
Okay, good stuff, Steve. Abel in the chat box saying Angels are not in Los Angeles. They're in Anaheim. Nice correction there, Abel.
The name of the team What's
Well,
the
but the name of the team is Los Angeles, so I do say Anaheim. You guys will notice me say Anaheim a lot because I do remember that. But yeah, team name is Los Angeles. What you going to do?
Somebody tweeted yesterday that the Angels, the baseball needs so tiny to be someplace other than the Angels because Anaheim is irrelevant. It's like you own a map. They're 30 miles away from Los Angeles.
There's a mouse that would disagree also.
Even with traffic, it's like what, an hour drive. They're in LA, okay? It's like saying if you live here and you squawk about, well, Henderson's not Las Vegas. Yeah, it is. Okay, it is. Maybe not technically, but nobody says they're coming to Nevada to visit Henderson. Coming to visit Las Vegas, but they may very well spend some time in Henderson. So Anaheim is in LA. Okay, as far as baseball is concerned.
Dave Koken, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, check him out, WagerTalk.com. We got best bets coming up with Dave. Check out Steve Merrill as well as myself. It's $2 Tuesday. Reminder there, guys. Top play, top handicapper discounted to just $2. We do have best bets coming up, Dave. We're talking a little bit off camera, and I know a lot of people are interested in this. You know, sports handicapping in the month of August. Baseball's still going on, but of course, NFL, college football, kind of the top two ticket takers for the sports books, what people are interested in this industry the most. How does your day kind of form in the month of August? How are you spending it handicapping?
More on football for a couple of reasons. Number one, lines are always sharp this time of year in baseball, and I don't know that I've ever seen them sharper than this year. I mean, because if you track the opening lines and what happens, like, man, the odds makers are doing a great job. And that has to be factored in. If you're not getting your value out there, then you can't force stuff. Secondly, I think there are edges to be had in college football, particularly early on, if you really like an opinion on a team or on a game. So you can cash in with value there. The market is heavier in football than it is in baseball. I mean, you've got a Hall of Fame game on Thursday. It's a scrimmage between the Raiders and Jaguars. That'll be the highest rated sports event that day. It'll obliterate anything in the baseball. And to be honest, I'm kind of a no bullshit guy. From a business standpoint, I'm better off getting football content out there than baseball content because it gets more sales. I mean, I have a best bet up right now. It's on a college football over and under wins prop. I really should have made it a 5% play, but because I think it's that strong, but I made it a 4. That's up there right now, and I think we're still pricing it at $9. That's going to get more sales than any baseball game I put up. And I'm not having a terrible season in baseball. I mean, I'm pretty good on the year. So I think that answered most of your questions. I am more in football mode than baseball mode at this point.
Okay. No, good stuff. I mean, I wanted to get both you and Steve. You guys have been doing this successfully for multi-year periods. And I agree with you. I mean, there is a lot of value, particularly in the college football market. I mean, there's 130 plus teams coming in. That's a lot for the odds makers to do. So you'll see these lines move, which, guys, that kind of tells me there's more value there. You know, in baseball right now in the month of August, this is pretty sharp. Like, I don't think volume is the way to go. You know, you can pick spots, 1, 2, 3 a night. That's kind of what I'm doing personally. But I do agree with Steve, values there to be had, particularly in college football early in the season. I agree with Dave, excuse me. Steve, throw it over to you. What are your kind of August handicapping days looking like?
Yeah, I think you'll agree with me as well. I mean, basically, we're taking the same approach. We usually have 1 or 2 best bets a night in baseball. I've got 2 strong best bets tonight on Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. I mean, but baseball is somewhat systematic for me this time of year. We have so much statistical info. We have over 100 plus games for every team, right? So, that's more than an NBA season. That's more than a full NHL season. That's like 2 or 3 football seasons combined, college and pros. So baseball kind of takes care of itself now. So definitely start digging into college football. And anybody out there that's doing their own handicapping, break it down. Do a conference a week, or every half a week. Break down a few teams a day. Gabe Morency, our friend Drew over at Sports Grid, he said he started in alphabetical order last week. He's working his way down the list. So lots of different ways to do it, but it will overwhelm you if you wait until late August or September to try to handicap 100 teams in 1 week. It's definitely not the approach you want to take.
Yeah, that's a lot to do in a short period of time, guys. So let's get into best bets. Good stuff from both Steve Merrill, Dave Koken. Check them both out, wagertalk.com. Guys, for my best bet, I am going to the Atlanta Braves Philadelphia Phillies game, and I'm honing in on Spencer Strider, the starter for the Braves. When you look at his last 2 starts, this is a guy that came in flamethrowing righty, throws hard. He had 11 strikeouts, 12 strikeouts, at multiple times, over 8 strikeouts in the game. But when you look at his last 2 starts, we see this a lot with young pitchers. Their innings kind of add up here, and they don't go as deep into the game. And sure enough, his last 2 starts against the Nationals and the Phillies, he only got 6 strikeouts and 4 strikeouts, going 10 innings total here. And over his last 3 starts, he's only averaged 5 innings. So to put his strikeout prop at 7.5, I think it's just too tall. I don't think he gets there, guys. I think there's value there. I don't think he gets to 8 strikeouts tonight against this Philadelphia Phillies lineup, which he's seen back-to-back starts. So that's always an advantage to the offense in my handicapping. So yeah, under 7.5 strikeouts, minus 120 price tag for Spencer Strider is my best bet for the show. I'll throw it over to Dave Koken. Guys, he's got that college football wins prop up. Check that out. Just $9 right now. Number 1 Wager Talk all-time college football profits. Dave, take it away for final thoughts and best bet for the show.
Yeah, just to add on with Strider, I don't think he'll start many more games for the Braves, or I think they'll start skipping starts. They want to manage his innings. I'd see the same thing with Kyle Wright. The Braves, their main focus is just to get to the playoffs. I don't think they care about winning the division particularly. I don't think they believe they're going to win the division with the Mets. I mean, if DeGrom is healthy, who's going to catch that team? So I would think with a couple of great young arms in Wright and Strider, the Braves might be careful with them down the stretch. So I don't disagree with your take there. I didn't bet anything in baseball tonight. I almost never do on trade deadline day because I learned this lesson a while back. The lineups you think are going to be on the field don't often get on the field. With all these trades being made, and obviously the Padres, for example, have no idea what they'll have on the field tonight. Not like Soto's going to be there for the games today, so wait till the rosters are settled back in. If you want something tonight, DeGrom's on the mound for the Mets against whatever that is the Nationals will have out there. They've called them a bunch of minor leaguers. Good luck to them. So I like the Mets. I like the Brewers with Burns against who's pitching for Pittsburgh? Right.
Wilson.
His name?
Wilson.
Yeah, Bryce Wilson. I forgot his name. He's actually pitched a little better lately, but it's a huge matchup advantage for Milwaukee, and the Pirates aren't hitting at all. So I would go moneyline parlay, Mets and Brewers. They're such big favorites, you don't even get even money on the parlay. It's like minus 115 or minus 120. But I think they're looking for a little beer money action tonight. Brewers and Mets moneyline parlay.
Brewers, Mets moneyline parlay for Dave. And we got Steve Merrill. Check him, guys, up. He's got, 2-for-1 special here, Merrill. That's discounted. You also got your MLB over easy slugfest, winning 3 straight the last 2 days. So seeing it well on the diamond. Steve, what do you got for best bets? Final thoughts?
Yeah, 2 strong best bets for Tuesday night. I made a 2-for-1 special. You're basically getting 2 for the price of 1. And I also have a bonus free play on my page at wagertalk.com. So 2 best bets and a free play with analysis. And I say bonus free play because I'm going to look at another game that was just a bit outside from making the cut. And that's in the American League between the Jays and the Rays. And look at the home dog, Tampa Bay Rays, plus $1.20. If I was to tell you heading into this game, very competitive game, right? They're 3 games apart in the wild card. They're both above 500. One team this season is exactly 500, 36-36 against winning teams. The other is 37-34. The Rays, better record. One team is 1 game below 500 on the road. One is 12 above at home, Rays versus Jays. Also, the starting pitchers tonight, let's look at their ERAs and their records. They're both pretty similar, 3.3, 3.2 ERAs, 1.3, 1.2 whips. Tampa starter is better in both regards. Team record, 12-5 with Rasmussen, Gosman just 9-10. With all that said and home field advantage, yet the Rays are a plus 120 dog. You would think it's the other way around, and it should be the other way around. We get some good value with a live home dog tonight. And I also like the situational setup. Not do all the numbers also show that Tampa probably should be favored, but both teams were off yesterday. Yes, Toronto's won 8 out of 10. Tampa's lost 7 out of 10. That's why the Rays are a home dog. I get it. They're not playing good. They're banged up. But both teams were off yesterday. I think that'll help reset both teams here. And also, I do think you can make a case that Toronto is starting to cool off. That red-hot offense, even at home, did not hit the ball well this past weekend against Detroit. In fact, despite winning 3 of those 4 games and having 11 runs the last 3 games, they had only 14 total hits. 4 hits, and 6 hits their last 3 games. They've now had 6 hits or less in 4 of their last 5 games, and now they take to the road where they've always been a much weaker team. Tampa remains home. Live dog tonight, Tampa Bay Rays plus $1.20. That goes tonight on Tuesday at 7 Eastern. Don't forget, 2 games are much stronger. 2 strong best bets for my personal clients. You get the 2-for-1 special for $29 tonight, or get 7 days of baseball for just $79. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Rays plus 120, plus price on the home dog there. Spencer Strider under 7.5 strikeouts tonight, minus 120 for myself and Dave Koken. Mets Brewers parlay, minus 115, the price tag on that. Guys, watch the trade deadline. Check out Steve Merrill, Dave Koken, WagerTalk.com. We'll be back tomorrow. First pitch right here, 1:45 Eastern time on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Feel free to reply below what you're looking to bet. Any questions, more than welcome. Please smash that like button. Best of luck with your bets. Thanks for tuning in.
Did you know that from 2017 to 2020, WagerTalk charged $795 for a season of either college football or NFL? Well, we know how important our season-long customers are, and we want to increase the amount of money you save by committing a season-long package. While most of our competitors continue to raise their prices, we are doing the exact opposite. We've lowered our price for both the NFL season and the college football season to only $5.99 each. But through Sunday, August 14th, we are offering an early bird special, saving you an additional $100, making your NFL or college football season only $4.99. That's under $23 per week. Make sure to take advantage of the early bird prices before midnight, Sunday, August 14th, as they will return to the still low price of $5.99 per sport per season. You know the NFL preseason is already underway, and the college football season kicks off Saturday, August 27th. There is no coupon needed and no limit to the number of packages you can buy. Just head to your favorite handicappers page and take advantage today.